We are excited to shift gears and learn more about how Taskize, Euroclear, and Symphony integrate to expedite and resolution of post-trade issues. Please welcome for the first time to joining us at Innovate, Philippe Laurensy, Kishan Bharwad, and Philippe Slavin. Let's see how this integration helps operations professionals solve problems faster, track deadlines, and deliver world-class service.
Superb.
Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon. So my name is Philippe Laurensy. I'm heading the group strategy for the Euroclear entities. I'm delighted to be here, trying to set the scene, basically to talk about how the latest innovation of Taskize, its integration and collaboration with Symphony. At Euroclear, we're there to make your life easier, hopefully reduce risk, reduce cost, reduce capital. So we always try to identify pain points. And when we find one, and there are many in the post-trade, we try to find a solution for that. In the post-trade, I think Taskize has found a way to basically streamline the way we manage post-query resolution in a more efficient manner than using email, phone calls, and the like. Now, when you have a query, usually you're not on your own. There is an ecosystem, and the objective is really to address the pain point of the ecosystem overall. So we need to find a way to basically connect the front office, the back office, and people from different firms. And that's, I think, what Taskize has found is an interesting solution. Now, Taskize is focusing on the back office. Symphony is more focusing on the front office. So I think the missing point was the connectivity between the two. And so that's what we're here today. And I will hand over to Phil Slavin to basically explain you what the plan is, and then we'll have a demo afterwards.
Absolutely.
And with Euroclear, we'll make Taskize the preferred platform for query resolution.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Philippe. Good afternoon, everybody. In the audience and online, my name is Phil Slavin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Taskize. For those of you that don't know, Taskize provides intercompany workflow, specifically focused in operations, specifically focused when an individual needs to reach from one firm into another firm to resolve an issue, a dispute, an exception break, or any other piece of work. And by using Taskize, most of our organizations are seeing a 70% reduction in issue resolution time, a collapse of 90% of their operational emails into a single business work unit that Kishan will be talking about. And that leads to a 3 times improvement in productivity. We've been going for about seven years now. We have just north of 550 clients on the network operating out of 88 countries. So that's Taskize. But the reason that we're here today, and it's why it's so interesting and exciting for me, I've been in the audience for the last few years, so it's great to be up on stage, is because we're trying to answer the question around interoperability, a question that you in the audience and online will be asking and continually ask us at the same time. It's our responsibility, I believe, as vendors, as providers of service to you, to answer that question for you. You shouldn't be sitting there going, well, I've got these different platforms and how do they work together and when do I use them? It is our responsibility to be able to provide that connectivity, demonstrate those use cases, and answer the question for you. So you don't have to sit there and say, am I going to use Symphony or am I going to use Taskize? You should be able to, we should answer the question for you so you know in any particular use case, for any particular platform, we can maintain the proximity between those users by allowing seamless integration. And it's because it's our responsibility, we've built the integration and we're going to demonstrate something to you which we think is a very common use case in operations today. And that use case, which Kishan, who's head of product, will go through in a moment, is when you have one issue that has to be resolved by 2 firms, and in this case today, across 3 different platforms. So that 1, 2, 3 process is what Kishan is going to demonstrate to you, and we shall give you plenty of space to do it.
Thanks, Phil. So today we're going to show you interoperability in action. So we all know that connected platforms can increase efficiencies, but what does that look like in a real-life scenario, and what are the benefits? So we've got a scenario here today, a common scenario that's seen across the industry, a settlements break that's experienced between Cedar Bank and Maple Bank. So the settlements break has been identified in an exception manager called EasyWay, which is Euroclear's web interface for highlighting issues such as settlements breaks, amongst other things. And that is going to be resolved by David from Cedar Bank via an external query to their counterparty using Taskize, a Taskize bubble. So a Taskize bubble is our version of a secure shared problem ticket. So David's going to raise that external query with their counterparty Gemma in Maple Bank, also a settlements agent, and she's going to then reach out to her front office to clarify the issue and reach resolution using the integration between Taskize and Symphony. So into the demo. I'll move slightly to the side here so you can see. So this is the Euroclear EasyWay dashboard. This is where David from Cedar Bank can see all his exceptions. And it looks like there's an unmatched settlement instruction that needs to be resolved by 2 p.m. today. So pretty urgent. He's going to select that particular settlements break, and it's going to highlight in red here that it's as a result of a price discrepancy. So this needs to now be resolved. And Cedar Bank used Taskize to resolve their issues, and Euroclear and Taskize have an integration that allows that to be executed quite seamlessly. So oftentimes the biggest problems can be caused by some of the smallest issues, such as rekeying data in different systems, copying and pasting information from one platform to another. So the first benefit of interoperability that we have here is the seamless transfer of data from EasyWay. The exception details get transferred directly onto the Taskize bubble in one click. So now you have all the exception details. This problem ticket is now ready to be resolved. So David's going to hit create here, and that's going to show, so let me take you through the interface very quickly. So on the right-hand side here, we have the Taskize bubble, which is where the issue resolution is going to take place. And on the left-hand side here, we have what we call our bubble blotter. So this is where David can manage and prioritize all of his tasks. So going back to the bubble, David is going to invite the counterparty, Maple Bank, to resolve the issue. And that's going to be done using our smart directory. So the smart directory is designed to help solve the problem for Cedar Bank to help navigate their industry. Oftentimes, you don't know who to contact, and you don't know which team you need to send the request to. So that's the first problem the smart directory solves. And the second problem is about, on Maple Bank side, who does that need to be allocated to? It's often quite difficult to manage who's the right person to solve the issue. So the first thing that David does is he selects the organization that he wants to send the request to, in this case Maple Bank, and then selects the function he wishes to send the request to, which is settlements. And that's all he needs to do. When he clicks add, what happened just there very quickly was the smart directory in action. So it took the exception details from EasyWay, it matched that against the responsibilities of the settlements team at Maple Bank, it found the most experienced person based on having resolved those issues before, and who was the most appropriate person based on capacity. So it took all those factors into account to then assign the issue to Gemma from Maple Bank. So the audit trail there is intact and shows that Emma's now joined the bubble to resolve the issue. So David's going to communicate to Gemma and let her know that there's a price discrepancy on this trade, and he believes that the issue's on Maple Bank side. So he's going to send that message. And now we're going to switch to Gemma's view. Right? So now we're from the perspective of Gemma. So I'm going to move it back so I can see slightly. So Gemma is going to communicate to David that she believes that she needs to refer to her trading desk to clarify the problem. So she's going to get back to David shortly. So in order to contact the front office, she's going to use what we call a linked bubble. So a linked bubble, it allows her to keep it separate from the client, So she's going to use this linked bubble to add a message to the front office team to let her know that she believes that this price discrepancy is as a result of the way the trade was booked. So to enable this communication between the back office and the front office is where the Symphony integration comes in. So she's going to select the internal business unit of front office. And when she clicks create, what's going to happen is a room is going to be created in Symphony, which you see on the right-hand side here. That request is going to create a room. It's going to add those attributes that we saw earlier from Euroclear EasyWay, add it to the bubble, and invite that front office team that's responsible for this transaction. So this is the second benefit of interoperability. Gemma didn't even need to know that that front office team is using Symphony. So the integration between Taskize and Symphony allows two teams on two different platforms to communicate with one another while remaining in their platform of choice. So enabling that proximity without sacrificing the tools they prefer using. Gemma can begin resolving the resolution in Taskize, and Joshua, who is the person that booked the trade, remains on Symphony and can communicate back and forth between the two platforms seamlessly. So it looks like Joshua, who's in the front office team in this room, believes that the issue was as a result of commission that was missed from the transaction. So he's going to add that to the bubble there, and that's going to be communicated to the bubble directly. I did actually miss off the fact that there are some other attributes that have been mapped across, such as the title for context and the status on the right-hand side here that you can see. So the fact that this issue is in progress is communicated across both teams as well. So now that the issue has been resolved, or at least been clarified, Gemma can resolve this bubble here that she has with her front office team. So you can see there, as the issue was updated and resolved, that was instantly communicated to the the front office team on Symphony, so that they now know they don't need to pay attention to this room. The issue's been resolved. Gemma can now go back to the client on the original bubble and communicate the fact that the issue's been resolved, and it was as a result of a price discrepancy, a missing commission. She can then resolve that bubble. And then what Taskize allows you to do is add a root cause to the bubble. So she's going to add a root cause element stating that it was as a result of a missing commission. So there you have it. One exception being resolved between two firms across 3 different platforms. Now, in the spirit of today's theme of speed, we timed this issue resolution process, and that took 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Now, obviously, in reality, the communication probably wouldn't happen as quick, and maybe those source systems need to be updated, maybe take a little longer. But what we're showcasing here is that interoperable technologies mean that the technology no longer needs to be the barrier. We've removed the friction, so all that needs to happen is the communication and the people to get around the problem, to resolve the issue, especially important in this, on our journey towards T+1. So before we conclude the demo, there's one more final benefit of interoperability, and that's data and analytics. So because of the fact that the two systems were communicating using structured data between the 3 platforms, we get real actionable insights into the communication and collaboration that occurs specifically within the back office. So the Taskize reporting suite can show the makeup of the issue across your different counterparties, so which counterparties are causing you the most pain, potentially, where the internal interactions are, so which teams are collaborating on resolving the issue. And earlier, I'll step aside slightly so you can see, we added a attribute for missing commission, and we can now look at, across our reporting, we can see that missing commission accounts for 37.5% of issues that resolved over Taskize. And that's all because we have interoperable systems exchanging structured data between the two platforms and 2 firms. So there we have it. 1, 2, 3. Right.
you like one question? I think in the interest of time, we do have one question. What is the future for this integration?
Oh, okay. So, well, we always build according to what our clients want, the client's wishes. There's a strong driver for using the strength and the power of encrypted and strong point-to-point communication for Symphony in the front office. And Taskize, with its focus in the operational space, understands that some of these issues, one of which you saw today, requires you to reach into the front office. So from our perspective, whether you're a Symphony user in the front office or whether you're a Symphony user anywhere, we don't really mind. The concept of the smart directory allows us and you to work together to map the destination of that resolution. So if you come and talk to us about individual use cases, we'll understand what that workflow is. That's what we do. We concentrate on workflow so that you can take the assets that you've built internally, the workflow that you've built internally, whether it's yourselves, your internal systems, or whether it's platforms that you have built or been bought. There's a lot of service providers out there, and we're probably talking to 30 or 40 of them. They all provide core processing. Inside that core processing, you'll see a long list of all the things that have worked perfectly, and you'll see hopefully a very short list of all the things that are broken. At that point, integrate with Taskize, that interoperability with those platforms into Taskize, and then across to Taskize, whether you need to be in Symphony. We've also got an integration with Teams and also with email. From our perspective, consolidating all the information inside one platform to allow you to do all of the reporting. So you can see what service you're providing your customer, and you can see the service that you are receiving from your providers.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you.
Any other questions, you can catch the Taskize
Oh yeah,
Euroclear.
catch us later for drinks or go to the website, taskize.com. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.